Alright guys, today we're going to talk squash. Alright, so there are two different types of squash. There is a summer squash and there is a winter squash. And when I was younger and first starting to garden, I thought that winter squash meant that you planted it towards the winter. But that's not the case. And I'm sure that if you grew up with lots of squash, you probably knew that that wasn't. But just in case, what it means is both of them are actually planted in early spring, summer, and fall, but summer squash has to be eaten as you pick it. Winter squash can actually be stored, so you can put it in a cool cellar or in your pantry or in a refrigerator, and it's going to be fine. It has a harder cover in it, and most of the time we think of those winter squashes more like pumpkins, and you kind of think of fall, you think of harvest and decorating. So that'll kind of let you know you can leave them out and it's not going to hurt. You leave a yellow squash or a zucchini out, it's going to start to rot. So that's the two different types of squashes. So here is the yellow crookneck or straight neck squash. This is the one that most of us in the South think about when we think about squash, and these definitely need to be harvested. So this is a summer squash. And here is our zucchini plant, which is also a summer squash. This one's turning kind of yellow, which makes me, this one doesn't look like it's open yet, so hopefully it just hasn't been pollinated yet, and it will be. Alright, so here I have found a great example of male and female flowers. So these really tall ones that you see, they're coming up here with just the flower, that is the male flower. These right here are the females. So the males normally are down here, and then the female is right there, which is going to be future zucchini. They have to be pollinated by these male flowers. So the bee goes into it, then it goes over there. Scallop squash, and it is also a summer squash. You can see one over there. Same thing with the flowers. We have male and female flowers. This is the female, and it needs to be pollinated by a male flower or it's not going to grow. It's going to just shrivel up and it will just fall off. And there are the male flowers, so the bee has to come over here and then over there. And that's why bees, and not just bees, it's any beetles or any small bees. You know, we forget about sweat bees and carpenter bees and leaf cutter bees and all those good pollinators that come in there, and moths and, like I said, beetles, even little flies pollinate. So, and they go through. I heard somewhere that a squash has to be pollinated from the female has to be pollinated from the male 10 times before it makes. I'm not sure that's true. I actually need to go Google that. I will put below whether I find out it's true or not, okay? These two are Odessa squashes. So they are supposed to be a summer squash. So I'm just going to gather those and try to cook them. I'll let you know how that goes. Behind it, we've got regular yellowneck and butternuts. What, baby? Okay, that's fine. You can bring it. But it's growing up along here. Once again, this looks like one that did not get pollinated, so that's why they do that. Some of them probably will. We have two pumpkins down here. So there's one. There's another one. Back there. There's one here. So that's two. Cut with those out real good. Got some yellowneck squash here. So there's several different squashes growing along in one bed. And then possibly some spaghetti in there too. There's another pumpkin. Okay, and then over here is spaghetti squash. So you'll see right there. I'm terrible at this. I can't show you. There we go. Right there. Spaghetti. More spaghettis along there. Over here, growing along there. Looks like they all got pollinated really good. I just got the yellow squash off of this. Okay, so here we are growing a pumpkin. So this is the latest stage that I have in it, and you can see it's about, with my hands, it's getting pretty big. So here is, let's see, I saw it. The next stage, it still has a flower on it, right here. And then we have one that's coming that the flower has not opened up yet, okay? So, and let me show you one that did not get pollinated. So this fella over here did not get pollinated, so therefore it is not any good, and it's popped off. So that's what's happened there. And hopefully this guy, or she, this female flower, will get pollinated. All butternut squashes, and you can see one there. They are winter squashes along with the pumpkin. Strawberry, you can try, but I think your sister's got them all. Okay. And then here are those scallop squashes that are summer squash. Okay, you also want to go in every once in a while and trim your squash leaves, and this lets the light in so that pollinators can see your flowers. It's good for the sun to get into your plants, and it also helps you watch for squash bugs. So that's a biggie. You can see where I've trimmed in here to allow pollinators to come in. Now this big pumpkin's a totally different story, so I may trim every once in a while, and it's going to start going into the pathway. But I've also trimmed over here. And so you want to make sure that you're able to get in there and kind of let the airflow go through and let your pollinators go through and hunt for bugs while you're doing it. I hope this quick tip squash video helped you out in your garden. So now you kind of have some ideas, some different squash that you can grow and grow them together, and different parts of the squash and how the squash works and how you may want to trim your squash. So let me know of any squash that you really like to grow down in the comments, and maybe I'll try them next year and see how it turns out. So thanks for watching. If you think this will help anybody, please go ahead and share or tag, you can share on Facebook, you can send it in Messenger. If you found it interesting and you find our other tips interesting, you can also subscribe. So thanks for being with me, and I'll see you next time.